Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Ragucci, and this is Replay, Relive, or Reexperience, as we like to call it, Re3s, where you guessed it, we do all three of those things to our favorite video game franchises. In this edition of Re3, we'll be replaying, reliving, and re-experiencing Telltale's The Wolf Among Us, based on the comic book series of the same name, or not the same name, Fables. Yes. Yeah, the comic book series is Fables. Created and written by Bill Willingham. And of course, in anticipation for The Wolf Among Us 2, I guess coming out this year. We don't really know for sure, but that's what they're telling us. Here to uncover this Fabletown mystery, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Fee, fi, fo, fum, gooch. No, wait, that's a different one.
It's a fable. No, you're good.
That's okay.
Keep it going.
But then he's like, fee, fi, fo, fum.
You had it.
No, I didn't. I lost it. Anyways, move on. I'm here. Hi, I'm Trio.
And of course, in the middle, our guest for this series, the original Delco nerd, Joey Farrell.
The prodigal nerd has returned.
Welcome back.
It's been a couple of years.
Some
things have happened since then.
Yeah, so we were talking like a little bit before. I really think the last time you were on was that Before the Storm review with me.
Probably. Like,
that's really the last memory I've had. I don't remember.
Not gonna lie.
Fuzzy Lander right
that was also the last Life is Strange game I've played.
You didn't play 2?
Tried it.
You didn't miss anything.
Yeah, I didn't. I heard Colors, strange,
True Colors,
Wonderful Colors,
True Colors.
Yeah,
I think
True Colors.
That's good.
That's good.
I like Wonderful Colors better, personally.
It's like Epic Mickey 3, right? Remember Epic Mickey?
Good pull.
That's why I'm the prodigal nerd.
Was that Warren Spector?
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
This is your lane more than I. I can't say. Warren Spector sounds like a great name, though.
I love speculative podcasts.
Warren Spector did Spore and he did Civilization. That's what he's known for.
Okay.
I'm pretty positive.
Interesting.
Kind of stuff.
You're learning me things, Gooch. Yeah, I don't know.
So wow, here we are. Re3. Second time we're doing this. Holy shit. It's been a while.
It has been.
And we're going to do just as many episodes.
More even, actually. I think we've got it up to 50.
Yeah, we're going up to 50 this time.
So for each chapter, we're breaking each chapter down into 5 parts.
We're going minute by minute.
But
dialogue by dialogue, every branch
choice we're going to discuss.
We have pre-recorded acting scenes. We were recreating the entire story. Yeah. But Wolf Among Us, Gooch. I got to say, you brought this up to do a re-3. And I was like, this is a good idea. I do like it in the general of like, it's coming up every once in a while. No, let's not push it here. No. But no, it was a great idea. Obviously, Wolf Among Us Season 2 is hopefully, like you said, coming out this year. We're kind of somewhat pre-canning these, so we'll release these as we get close to the actual release date. Yeah. But I'm glad you made me dip my toes back in the waters of Fabletown, and I'm excited to talk about it. Genuinely.
Yeah. So in terms, as we were saying, this is going to be a lot shorter than the Halo thing. We've learned a lot. I should say not Trio.
No, it's all right. I have learned things, maybe not.
We learned a lot from doing the Halo 3, and one of them obviously was it was too long. We should have done it 7 episodes, one for each game.
Yeah.
Maybe the episodes would have been longer, but the fact that we did, was it 36, 37,
something
38
like
episodes? Like we were talking earlier before you got here, Joe, and we were like, dude, that was February 2021 to November.
Yeah.
God bless Chris Geddes.
Thank you, Chris, again for coming on.
He put up with our shit.
I mean, it might not be the best idea on paper or in execution, but I think the massive
I appreciate the honesty.
The massive commitment is so respectful. I love just huge endeavors.
Well, and I gotta say, it was nice. We tried out a super in-depth format.
Yeah.
And we didn't like it. That's fine. You live and you learn. Yeah. And I think we did some things that I enjoyed a lot out of that. But yeah.
And of course, that was an audio-only podcast. We have video now. We also have the table. And dude, this is like all new equipment for you.
Yeah.
This is like all new equipment for you.
I know, it's all brand new.
The last time you were here, we still had the old table, Tim's drape that we're using as a tablecloth.
The maroon drape.
Definitely didn't have these mics on.
The lights are even. I like the lights better.
Well, so that's funny, Gooch. You had that whole time, but we ended up.
I don't think.
It was. I thought it was always in your corner, but we just never have it.
It's newer, and then we decided, like, why don't we use that for the light?
It's such a good directional light.
This is inside baseball. No one watching.
No, absolutely.
But I know there's any fucking idea.
But yeah, it's less intensive, and it's like, I'm just chilling.
Yeah, I know you were here for the photography lights.
Yeah,
and those were more.
That was a Joe era.
We're gonna get more depth in this, but those were a lot colder of lights too. They were more fluorescent, which we've learned. We were like, we need to do warm light.
And of course, the DSLR camera.
Absolutely,
that made the quality and all those white faces a lot better.
Absolutely, my porcelain skin was a tiny bit less porcelain.
And then I think the last thing I say that about the Re3 restructure would be it's going to be similar to a Rewind review. I think Trio implemented a lot of like cool ideas with that I'm like,
thank you, Huge.
It's funny. Those series ended up being like kind of like sister series in a way of just movie and video game, and I don't really think we intended to do it like that.
I think it was definitely also because it was during COVID. We didn't have much new things coming out, and we were like,
is that how we started?
Well, I know for me, I with Rewind reviews, that was something that was kind of churning in the back of my mind for a while, but I felt like
we had done some throwback
definitely,
reviews.
but like the pandemic really was like, all right, we don't have any new stuff coming out. For the most part, let's start looking backwards a little bit. Let's watch some classics. Like I thought Indiana Jones was a great way to start that. But yeah, no, I think you were right. I think it's.
I'm not looking forward to Dial of Destiny at all. That title,
I am.
That title.
Do you find that title any more ridiculous than like Temple of Doom?
I haven't even thought about it.
It sounds like the PC spin-off game of Indiana Jones,
and that sounds sick. I hope it has the same graphics.
Oh my god, there's a Mummy game from back in the 2000s where it's like a meme. If you ever see, like they literally like paste Brendan Fraser's face on like just a blockhead.
No way.
It's terrible.
No way.
It's so bad.
I played the Scorpion King game.
Yeah,
that's a classic. But yeah, Wolf Among Us. I think this was a great choice to follow up on. Genuinely, I'm excited.
Thank you. Yeah,
I'm excited to start
I mean, like
about.
it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's probably one of Telltale's best, besides The Walking Dead season 1. Like they followed up, and I think they crushed it. I mean, we'll probably talk about. Obviously, we will talk about it, but The Walking Dead put Telltale like more than on the map, and then they followed it up with like such an odd IP. Yeah. I don't think really anyone knew about Fables that much. I know
probably it's in the comic circle. I'm sure people did.
Oh, absolutely, but I definitely think that's more of like it's the Vertigo imprint, obviously, which is like an offshoot of DC. So
it is Vertigo.
Yeah, so
Walking Dead's Image, right? I don't know.
Yes.
I think because Telltale did both, I assume that it's also
Walking
Image.
Dead is technically Skybound.
I thought it was Image.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'd have to.
It's Skybound.
Speculative podcasting. I don't know.
It's like
I don't know. I just read it if it I just read the whole thing and loved it. Which I will say, you've been tempting me so hard. You keep saying Walking Dead, and I'm trying to focus on the game we're talking about here, but I've been Walking Dead consumed these past 4 months.
Oh, really?
I knew that, right?
We talked about it a little bit at New Year's. Yeah. I read the whole comic.
Oh, I was gonna say comic book wise.
I'm rewatching the whole show now. I only got to like season 4 or 5 live. But now I'm halfway through season 3, so I'm almost caught up to where I was.
Prison.
I'm doing the whole thing. I'm gonna replay all the games. I never finished there. I dropped off at like season 3 there. I think I started season 3 of the game.
I stopped at Terminus, whatever season that was.
That's 4.
It was like after the prison, I think. Yeah.
So I'm excited. All I talk about is Walking Dead, but this is not.
All right, we'll cut that off here. Now we're talking about
I have some Walking Dead fun facts. I feel like the Walking Dead's probably going to come up a lot.
It's the best thing. I don't know what that.
The Walking Dead.
Also, best thing. Period. Like
best thing.
Star Wars.
Water.
See ya. Walking Dead.
No, he said the best thing. It's better than everything.
I've been sitting here clenching my teeth and white knuckling as people talk about this Last of Us show, and it's like, dude, just turn on AMC. Man. Just tune into AMC.
This has been happening for years.
Yeah,
Thank
I know you think
much.
Pedro Pascal is daddy, but he's not. Okay,
it's Rick.
Turn on
Andrew
AMC.
Lincoln. Andy, come on.
Andy, I call him Andy too.
Yeah, I mean he's our best friend. So when you know him
I'm sorry, I knew this was gonna happen.
No, it's okay.
No, it's all right.
It's
This
all
is what makes this is fun.
But no, I definitely think Fables is one of those things I never would have heard of unless I played this game. And how many comics are there? Like how big's the compendium? Or is there a compendium that you have, or do you have all the like?
Oh no, I read Walking Dead. I didn't read.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Fables.
I will say I wanted to start reading Fables.
I was like, did you took a picture of it? I thought you bought it.
I was in California and
you just saw
at a random shop and I saw it. I didn't buy it though because it wasn't the first one. I don't even know if it was part of like the main. It seemed like a spinoff.
I discovered in doing some research of this pod, there's a lot of it's Fables subtitle offshoot. Like it seems to go in a lot of different directions, and it's not over.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that doesn't surprise me.
Not even like the main line.
I have no idea, but it's like it's not done.
Yeah, I was thinking I might start reading it just to have that perspective, but I haven't had the chance to.
It's a busy world. Busy world, adults, man.
But I'm gonna say by episode 5, I'll have at least read one issue.
I like it.
I'll hold you to that.
It's a pretty light promise.
And if we get there and you don't,
we're editing you out of this podcast and putting in someone else.
Tig Notaro is going to take your place, like she did with was it
ignore
the
green screen behind you. We need to easily cop you out if that happens.
All right, so before we like to jump into the episodes, and I guess this is the only one. Since there's only one game, we talk about a little bit of development, a little bit of background about Telltale, and at the end, we were talking about like, okay, how do we talk about the fall of Telltale? Because it doesn't and I was thinking about it.
The story.
Yeah, but it's after The Wolf Among Us.
It's after.
It's after.
Was this the second game they made?
Yes,
Okay.
the second after The Walking Dead.
They had the Back to the Future one.
They
right,
have a
and
lot of
stuff,
other
and,
games that you might not realize that I'll talk about. So, Telltale Games, of course, is an American video game developer based in San Rafael, California. The company was founded in July 2004 by former LucasArts devs Kevin Berner, Dan Connors, Troy Melander, following LucasArts' decision to leave the adventure game genre. So you're
Sam and Max?
Super Monkey? No,
Curse of
not
Monkey
Super
Island?
Tales Monkey Island?
Curse?
Curse of Monkey Island.
Curse of Monkey Island.
That's a LucasArts game.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
I've heard of that.
like, and that just got remastered, but like that's what LucasArts
Grim
did.
Fandango? Is that one?
Was it? Yeah, because it's Tim Schafer.
What's the other one with the Day of the Tentacle? Is that one?
Yeah. There we go.
I've never played any of these games. I just know them.
We just know.
I just have them on PS Plus.
Yeah.
I look at them every day.
Telltale established itself to
Every day.
focus on adventure games using a novel episodic release schedule over digital distribution, creating its own game engine, the Telltale tool, to support this. Telltale's initial success were on games using intellectual properties with small but dedicated fan bases, including Sam and Max, Wallace and Gromit, Homestar Runner, and Bone.
They did a Wallace
I
and
gotta
Gromit
play
game?
that Wallace and Gromit
They're
game.
old. Yeah, they're
Jeez,
old.
wow. That's interesting.
That's something that happened between the last time I was on. I got way into Wallace and Gromit.
Wait.
Legit. So.
That's like the stop motion,
Yeah.
right? That's
Since the
that's
last
good
time you were on, I've finished the entirety of Sopranos. So
Yeah, okay. That's
stuff.
about
Is
equal
Chicken
level.
Run, is Chicken Run involved in Wallace
Yeah,
and
it's
Gromit?
the same
Is that-
studio.
that is-
It's the same-
okay.
it's the same people.
Hard
yeah.
Man Studios, I think they're
Okay.
called. Yeah, they did that. They did Flushed Away.
when are we doing the Wallace and Gromit podcast?
Yeah, maybe Wallace and Gromit
Bring it on.
rewind review. Yeah, let's do it.
Bring me on.
Around 2010, the studio gained more lucrative licensing opportunities in more mainstream properties such as Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, and of course, Telltale's critical breakout game in 2012 was The Walking Dead, based on the comic of the same name. It introduced a more narrative directed approach that diverged from the standard adventure game point-and-click gameplay. Telltale continued to expand with new licensing deals for episodic adventure games over the next few years. Thanks, Trio, for burping
I
mid-sentence.
apologize. That kind of it just
I
snuck
tried
out
to
of me.
no-sell it, but it's too funny.
Those IPs included, and this is like everything after The Wolf Among Us, Minecraft, Game of Thrones, Guardians of the Galaxy, Batman, but the rate of production created a crunch time culture behind the scenes, leaving poor company morale, little room for creativity to veer from the formula set by The Walking Dead or improvements on the Telltale tool. So basically, every game they made, they were kind of like stuck in this pipeline, and then the crunch is what inevitably killed them.
And were they really? And they weren't really improving their engine.
Right.
No, that's the yeah.
I mean,
remember it
that's,
was like
that seems to be the
the
craziest
years were
part to
going
me.
on. At first, it was like passable, but then you get into like 2014,
Like,
2015. It's like all right,
The only Telltale game I've never played, I've played them all, is Guardians of the Galaxy.
I forgot.
I want to
That's
play
like the
it.
last big one, right?
The walk. So Telltale
Well, I guess
collapsed
the
in the
later, yeah.
middle of The Walking Dead's final season.
Yeah.
And then Skybound Games picked it up and finished it.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was wild.
That was crazy. Yeah, because people were wondering what's going to happen. I already paid. Like some people had already
Yeah.
paid for the full
Dude,
game.
it's
so-
going to be interesting to talk about at the end, but yeah, it doesn't make sense to talk about it now.
For sure.
Right now, we're all peaches and cream. Telltale's
everything's
on
great.
Fire.
Yeah.
Walking Dead won Game of the Year in 2012.
Yeah.
I think Jack Black was the host of that. That was the Spike VGAs.
There's a memory.
Yeah, we're going back a little bit.
oh gosh.
In 2011, Telltale Games announced that it acquired licenses to develop games based on 2 comic book series, The Walking Dead by Robert Kirkman and Fables. This announcement came around the same time that the television series The Walking Dead became critically successful. So this is probably like season 2, leading Telltale to put much of their initial focus on the development of The Walking Dead from 2011 to 2012. With The Walking Dead shipping, the company then started working on their Fables title. But according to Telltale's Job Stauffer, they struggled with the narrative of the title for over a year and a half. They found the game to be more of a comedy, but without much humor substance in an unshippable state.
Interesting.
Stauffer said that their team rallied together to refocus the game, delaying it from early 2012 to release late in the same year, and ultimately to finish up in October of 2013. It shipped in October 2013. The first episode came out in October 2013.
Just to jump in really quick, I do think it's interesting to hear that this was originally thought to be more comedic.
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
Because there are even lines with Bigby where you're like, he kind of plays it. There's one part where the guy's like, he's like, what are you doing? And you can be like, he's like, you're budging in line or whatever to go to see the doctor. And he's like, it's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's my job. And he's like, well, you do a great fucking job, Sheriff. And he's like, oh, that didn't seem very serious. Like the way you can play it is a bit more, I mean,
to me, the roommate being a pig that smokes cigarettes is
pretty great.
Pretty peak comedy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
actually.
it's fun. It's funny and it's dark comedy.
And his name's Colin. Yeah.
Colin.
Right. And Buffkin's a flying monkey that drinks. It's just fun.
That's
It's
true.
funny.
Yeah.
It's not like
it's
a
more
a joke.
situationally funny rather than dark. Yeah, I totally agree.
My last note that I finished the thought on, the last note that I have just says big, and then I stopped writing. But the last note that I finished was being mean to Buffkin is fun. Because there's one point where it's literally like different dialogue options, and one of them is just fuck you. Yeah, and I was like, obviously, I like him. He's funny, but I have to say it to him.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Fuck you.
Absolutely.
And he's like, oh.
No.
Yeah.
Buffkin didn't appreciate that. I'm sorry, Gooch.
Yeah, he's just a poor drunk guy. You know? He didn't deserve
Drunk
it.
monkey.
So when this finally did ship, it allowed for Telltale to incorporate mechanics that had been proven successful in The Walking Dead into their Fables games. Due to these delays, Telltale re-announced the Fables game at New York Comic Con in October of 2012. The name Wolf Among Us was revealed in March 2013 and is based on the main character Bigby Wolf, obviously. The game was initially released across 5 episodes between October 2013 and July 2014 for PC, PS3, Xbox, and of course, mobile.
Oh yeah, I guess I played it on Xbox. In my mind,
I initially played it on PC because I played The Walking Dead on PC because I don't think this wasn't on Xbox. I don't think yet.
What?
Maybe I was wrong.
The Wolf Among Us?
No, The Walking Dead. I think that was a PC.
I played it on 360.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It definitely was at one point, but I don't know.
It might not
exactly
have been
when.
right at launch. It might have been a couple months later or something. Yeah, I remember because I was even playing it now. I was kind of thinking, I was like, this probably would be fun on PC. Just the
absolutely.
UI and stuff, interacting with a mouse. I feel like,
I think that's definitely the optimal way. And even I remember playing it. So I didn't end up playing this on my mobile because for some reason I don't have the last 3 episodes. Like I'd have to purchase them again. And I was like, I definitely bought them on here because I played this game. Yeah. And it's nowhere else on my other consoles. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just buy it on my Xbox because it's the same price if I bought the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So But I do remember playing it on my mobile and being like, oh, this is much more. Because, you know, you're swiping, you're tapping the screen. Yeah, you can just tap your dialogue option.
Doing the stick cursor is just not...
It's not as intuitive, for sure. No, I completely agree.
And, of course, the Series X, has the... it's either an FPS boost or the HDR boost. And what are you playing it on?
I'm playing on PS5 now.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I will say, Telltale started the episodic game thing. Right?
Yes.
Like, basically. I feel like, because it's funny, I feel like there was a bit of a stage there for a little bit where some games, notably like Hitman, I feel like was trying to do this episodic format. But now, and then everyone was like, actually, no, we're not.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some obscure one that did it before. But that definitely was like the big boom.
The mainstream.
Right.
And I remember Sony Games wanted to do it. And
I feel like it
remember
was
when Final Fantasy VII Remake got announced and they told us it was going to be episodic and we were like, how do you do that in the Telltale format? Yeah. Because that's what we knew as episodic.
Well, and it is even funny, like looking at something like Hitman, that first game, the amount of things you can do within one level compared to the later games where you can still do a lot is noticeable because you can tell they spent a lot more time episode by episode.
And it's funny now because they're like, I still don't understand, but they retconned it. Well, not retconned, but like they combined it all into one thing.
That's awesome.
And if you I still don't understand it though. So if you bought the first one, I don't know.
So I think if you buy the third one, sorry for a quick side tangent on Hitman, that gives you the entire all 3 games. I don't know how it works with the first game. So all you'd have to do now is if you wanted the rest of them, just buy 3, and it gives you access to all of them in that in the new engine and all that good stuff. But
that's easy enough.
Yeah.
So and before I forget this, because I meant to write down the date of release, but it was October 14th, 2013 is when episode 1, Faith, launches.
Gotcha.
Few questions for you guys before we start. What was your first Telltale game?
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
Okay, we're all the same.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like Walking Dead back then?
No, I really didn't. I was
Fuck
like,
you.
I was
Dude,
born.
I remember.
I was too young. I'm not even too young. I don't know. I just wasn't appreciative of that style yet of games.
So it was our senior year.
Yeah.
I would come into chemistry with, of course, a friend of the show, Anthony Pazaro, and I would talk about.
I played all these games.
The Walking Dead.
All the Telltale games, he was there for.
There you go. Yeah. Because I think you guys had finished it, because I would come in and be like, dude, holy fuck.
Yeah.
And then I was like, And then I guess I was watching The Walking Dead at that point. I must have been.
I like weirdly watched it like the night it debuted. It was
Halloween.
It was Halloween, and I forget. I was just like, I saw ads for it, and I was like, dude, zombies are cool. I'm gonna watch this. Yeah. And then I like stayed up to watch. I mean, it probably wasn't super late, but I watched it when it aired. And
I stayed up till 10 at night to watch.
And I was like, dang, this was cool.
Yeah.
And I will say, revisiting season 1, it's not that cool.
You don't really? Because it's funny. I remember the first
stinks.
couple seasons, like enjoying them, and then
2 and 3 are good. 2 might be the best.
And that was I actually thought I'm like that would be also a cool series to go back. The game.
Oh, the game, yeah.
Yeah.
I
love Melissa Hutchinson as Clementine is fucking like, and Clementine is an incredible character.
In this?
It's a fun fact. You're getting ahead of me.
I'm scared.
You're getting ahead of me. What was the last Telltale game you played before this,
Joey?
Well, I mean, if you count me starting season 3 of Walking Dead, it's that. If you don't count that, I played Michonne and I hated it. Walking Dead Michonne is like one of the worst. Yeah,
I think mine was Batman.
Yeah, I didn't have a
season 2 Batman.
Mine was.
By the way, this game looked aesthetically looks so much better.
Which is funny. What Wolf Among Us?
Yeah, it just still holds up. I played it.
It played it a month ago
on
Series X.
Well, I tried starting Batman with my girlfriend, and I was playing. And I was like, this just plays awfully and looks terrible. Yeah. And I stopped playing it. But not this. This looks great.
I think the art style carries it because the engine is just like
and the lighting and everything.
The facial
it works.
reactions. And it's like I get you're trying to like emote.
Yeah,
it looks like
it's very cartoony. Yeah, it's like it's very over the top.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking a little bit because I had to think about it.
It's okay.
Because I'm like, is this right? It was the final season of The Walking Dead, but before that, Tales from the Borderlands.
Yeah.
The sequel to that came out, and nobody talked about it. By the way, that was a few months ago.
Well, that first one got like everyone was like, this is one of the
another
best
game that was
ever.
like, why would anyone expect this to be like a hit?
Yeah.
And Tales from the Borderlands just killed it for some reason.
I'm so not into Borderlands. I never.
Same. No, I
Borderlands is so sad.
I tried to play Borderlands 2 with Nick literally like a month ago because it was on Steam for like $5. We played for an hour and I was like, dude. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sure it was probably good back in the day.
No,
with the boys. And if there's anything I get, it's playing with the boys. But man, I couldn't be any.
It wasn't the boys that you were looking to play before. Yeah, I hear you.
And then 2 more questions. We've all played The Wolf Among Us.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. And what was your opinion of it when you're done? I think I was just as high on it as everyone else. I feel.
Yeah, but I remember being very blown away, like surprised in the way of like how much I enjoyed it compared to what I expected going in. I didn't know, like I said before, I didn't know anything about the fables of this universe.
Right.
It was a cool detective noir story with, exactly. That just was very intriguing the whole way throughout. I don't know.
I was definitely way in back then. I still know back then I was like, Walking Dead season 1 is still number 1.
Right.
But I was like, this is really good.
Yeah, no, I think this is what clicked the Telltale formula for me.
On a technical level, it probably is a little bit better, too.
For sure. I think that's what made me go, like, because I did end up, of course. Yeah. But I think this did make me go back and be like, all right, let me give Walking Dead another shot. Yeah. What was I doing? Maybe I wasn't in the right space. And I did enjoy it after that. So. Nice.
I got some fun facts before we jump in.
Let's get the fun facts. I already gave one away.
The game takes place 16 years before the comic, so we are in the year 1986.
I was gonna ask that. I really couldn't quite tell what era it was.
There's nothing really signifying when it takes place.
No, because
the
even
cars aren't really like 2 era.
I think you could put cell phones in their hands, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is current."
Right, like a flip phone.
Yeah, or something. Even
like I like how Breaking Bad kind of like, or like you watch older shows. Sopranos is a great example.
Yeah.
Where the first 2 seasons they don't have cell phones, and then they just have cell phones.
Yeah,
it's
so
interesting.
Crazy. It really is.
Because like stealing DVD players in the first one.
First
step.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're going to a payphone, and it's like they never do that in like the later 4 seasons.
My girlfriend and I have been looking for a new show.
Sopranos.
I think that might. I wonder if she might have seen it. To be honest, she's well versed on that stuff. I gotta give her a lot of credit. But
woke up this morning, Trio. Got yourself a gun.
And I got some gabagool. No, that's what
it's a lot of gabagool.
It is. Did you? Sorry, quick sidebar. Did you see the Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan Bionicle thing that I sent to the memes?
Like Bionicle.
It's supposed to. It's like someone's. Yes, it's like someone's like an AI to be both of them, and they're having like a conversation. And it's like, he's like, tell me about the Telenula. He's like, well, Joe, listen, what you got to know about that? I was crying laughing.
How did wait? How did we get from Sopranos to Bionicles?
Because you said something about a meme, I think, and I was like, or it was something because
the
Gabagool thing. Yeah.
And of course, The main character of Fables is Bigby Wolf, and he is also the main character in this. That was they're the only 2 fun facts to start off with, but I think they're important.
I know, definitely. Who plays Bigby Wolf? I meant to look this up. Do you know? Is he anyone that we would know?
But
I'm going to Google it right now.
I'm going to go hot take.
You
I
got
don't
it?
think he's good.
I can look it up. I just didn't know if
You don't think he's big?
I don't think he's good.
Oh, really?
I don't like him.
I actually really like his like kind of gravelly.
I think so. I mean, I like the tone of his voice.
It's like
I
Adam
think
Harrington. There's no picture on IMDb.
Has he been in anything else?
He was in the Guardians of the Galaxy game. He was in a lot of their
So
games.
he's in some Telltale shit.
Yeah, and some like cartoons and stuff. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Oh, he's in Red Dead 2 apparently as well. The local. Oh, it doesn't. It cuts it off. Anyways.
Episode 1.
Episode 1.
Faith.
Bum bum.
We open up. Once upon a time in New York City, there lived a community of fairy tale characters known as Fabletown. The Fables who lived there arrived hundreds of years ago after they were exiled from their homelands. Through the use of magic spell called Glamour, they have protected their secret community from the mundane world. Sheriff Bigby protects them from each other.
I should mention I'm on Glamour right now. I actually don't look like this.
I just throw some
Jesus
powder at you
Christ.
and you turn into like a troll.
Holy
Yeah, it's
shit.
expensive, but-
Holy
De-glamour.
fuck. Mind blown. I don't remember this opening title card, but I think it's very interesting.
It is,
Especially
I
the
don't think it was.
Sheriff Bigby Wolf protects them from each other. It's very like ominous.
I remember reading it and being like, and this was like last night. I was like, I feel like this could have been worded better, but it was still a good intro of like what's going on, and I agree. I like that idea of protecting them from each other.
So let's open this up.
I mean, he's protecting anybody, dude.
He's getting drunk off milk every day.
He's causing more damage. He's glassing people, which, you know, careful what you say to me. I got one. But, yeah, he's glassing people. He's ripping off arms if you're me. I mean, that's also getting ahead.
Yeah, it's funny. I took
decisions.
this. Yeah, so let's start. I'm curious, how did you play Bigby Wolf throughout this whole thing?
I'm playing him as kind of like the, you know, the paragon of good, doing what he needs to do, not like ripping people's arms off like you do.
Yeah,
at
I
the
didn't
end.
do that either.
So I will say, I started off good, and I was like, I'm just going to be good. That's all I want to do is be good. And that's just me in life. I'm trying to do it, and every time I pick the good option, Bigby, like, manages to morph it into, like, being a dickhead.
Well, it was funny. There's one point where I do like how it kind of leaves it up to you sometimes in the way of that part where Snow is getting yelled at by him, and I'm like, no, I'll let her handle this because she's a grown woman and she wants, and then she's like,
Ichabod,
yeah, and she was disappointed. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, take care. Like, what do you want me to do?
I'm trying to, you know, I think I did the same thing. I think I might have intervened. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. I think
I stayed silent, like I said, just because
I tried to say fuck you. In my idea, I
tried to say fuck you at the end to him.
In my opinion, that was what was being good, was saying fuck you, and then she stops you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happened for me at the end too. The first time I didn't.
Yeah.
But
So then eventually,
non-decision.
I gave up on being good, and that's why, you know.
It's funny. I try to be bad in a lot of video games.
Yeah.
And I'm not a psychopath, and I can't. No, I'm kidding. But I don't know why. I do genuinely find it hard sometimes.
The bad path I find also in some games usually like is not as rewarding as the good. Like I think like
sure.
I think that's like pretty clear in like a game
I would
like
agree with that,
Mass
actually.
Effect. Like
Yeah.
like
And it also makes it harder in a lot of instances.
Definitely.
right, because you're kind of just being
Dishonored in like Metal Gear 5. Like, I
Definitely.
feel like shit gets harder when you're like just killing relentlessly.
Yeah, and I feel like it and I think in a way it kind of takes the decision out of your hands. Like you're just kind of like you're being bad to be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think people are being good to be good, but like at least within that archetype, you can probably have some like differing opinions as to what you're doing instead of just like when you're bad, you're just fucking blowing heads and fucking cracking necks. You know what I mean? But the game does open on like that. You know, it's a pretty like typical like fucking domestic abuse situation. Sheriff Bigby Wolf on the case. Toad's like, yo, something's going on upstairs.
And you're like, glamour up, bitch. And then you walk upstairs, right? Did you say?
Which I sent a message in the chat about this, but when I was in California, I went to Disneyland. I rode Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Oh,
God, I love Mr. Toad.
what a fucking
He's
what a
the
guy.
best.
full circle, baby.
There was a girl in front of us in line who kissed the statue of him.
that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Did he turn back into a prince?
No.
Jesus.
Yeah, and we just
I was probably
disappointing.
covered in disgusting things.
yeah, she probably got a disease.
Or AIDS.
But Disneyland is pretty clean though. Actually, if there's any park I was gonna kiss,
Yeah,
on,
that
it'd be
actually
one.
probably they probably
Did
give
you
that
get
a
any
wipe down.
splash mountain water when you were there?
Dude, Splash was closed.
I know it's not, but
yeah.
you remember people were like cupping the
Oh
water.
yeah.
What? That's what to like get some.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
my
I'm
god.
I'm excited. Oh, dude, we gotta do a Disneyland podcast. I could go.
I have no
dude.
interest in Disney World or land. I've never been to Disneyland.
I would love
stuff.
to go at some point, but
It's good stuff.
alas,
Yeah, so we encounter the huntsman? The
woodsman.
Woodsman, thank you. Woodsman.
The hunter.
Who's
Easily.
like
Yeah.
the lesser known character of the Little Red Riding Hood. And I feel like there was a time where like Snow White and the Huntsman came out. There was a lot
Yeah.
more like attention to the Woodsman.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Chris Hemsworth himself.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
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 Thor.
He's
But
using glamour.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Chris Hemsworth? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
He looks,
You
he looks
know
a lot
what I
more like
mean.
me in real life.
And you know what I mean by glamour, if you know what I'm saying. It's not that chicken and rice.
So we're in that beginning part, and we kind of we're running into like basic. This little crime is sort of introducing us to the greater
grander,
plot of which Faith, who we find out is the donkey skin girl,
Yes.
is involved in, and she is a prostitute.
Yeah, which I don't know that fable in real. Like, is that a real one? I'm
It-
assuming
it
I would
all
assume
of
it
them are
is,
real.
So
yeah.
I kind of went through and I'm like, okay, like obviously like Beauty and the Beast are from Beauty and the
Yeah.
Beast. We know that. They're in the comic booking game. Faith is the donkey skin girl. She's only in the game, obviously, because she dies. And the donkey skin, which is the name of Fable, is a French literary fairy tale written in verse by Charles Perrault, which was published in 1695. And it's pretty stereotypical of like king marries off daughter,
Yeah.
daughter doesn't want to marry that king, she goes to marry someone else and she hides under a donkey skin cloak.
I see.
Yeah. So
To hide her beauty or whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And like when I was first playing this game, I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
no donkey skin? We're just calling her donkey skin?
All right, I guess so.
Like, all right.
Yeah, I feel like I want to do way more research on all of the weird ones that I like don't know about. Like Grendel, I'm assuming is like real.
Beowulf.
Yeah, I don't know. I never read that.
Really? Not in school?
No.
You never saw that CGI monstrosity of a film?
No, and it's not even like it was assigned to me and I didn't read it because that happened a lot. But,
absolutely.
But I just never got assigned that. I never had an English class where they assigned that. You have to
Really?
check it out though.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that either, to be
Does he
honest.
look like that in? Well, I guess it's a book.
I actually
I would assume they're pretty accurate with their descriptions.
yeah, because
I mean, he's a monster.
yeah, I love that character design. I forgot what he looks like playing this, and I was like,
It's cool.
All I remembered was thinking that he looks dope. So when he starts to transform, I was like, let's see. And then I saw it, I was like, yeah, that's sick.
Great A character
Yeah.
design.
Like it.
I like how this game introduces and kind of throws around a lot of like terms and lore stuff that is actually like never fully explained properly in the game, like the farm and the Exodus and the homelands. Like they're kind of just throwing these words out, and you kind of have to like use a lot of context clues to kind of like assume as to what they're talking about.
I agree, and I actually kind of appreciate that, to be honest. I
Right,
I
they're not-
like that they're not over explaining everything, and that you're understanding what everything is through context of the story that they're telling you, and I
Right.
think that's great. I totally agree.
Right. I imagine that was kind of like maybe a hard thing to kind of do.
I mean, I think it's
like,
tough
do
with
we,
any-
do we
yeah,
just
with any lore.
explain what the farm is, or like, and I think that first comes out with Colin, where Colin, even in the comic, he's all constantly coming from the farm, which is simply like just a village hidden in like upper New York. That's all it is.
I see.
It's
Okay.
not a prison, even though the people
Is it
seem
just
to,
like used for exile though, in general? Or is
it's for any fable who cannot glamour. They go to the
okay,
farm.
that makes
They have
sense.
to go to the farm.
Whereas
much
the
worse can
bad,
it be?
the witch as well, I think, is the more
Okay.
they get sent down if it's
How
bad.
much worse could the farm be? Because it seems like their
That's-
section of New York sucks.
Yeah, because they always are complaining. Like Colin mentions, like it's like a fucking prison, and like
Yeah.
you hear that again and again. And Bigby threatens Toad by going to the farm because he's not glamored up.
Yeah.
And some fables don't have to glamour, like Beauty,
Snow and-
Beast,
yeah.
Bigby. They're not glamored. They just look like people. Snow White.
Yeah, it's
obviously.
interesting how they were like, all right, Bigby's a werewolf.
Yeah.
No, I guess, is he a werewolf? I guess it's supposed to be a wolf in the old
Yeah,
Ghost
he's a big
Tale.
bad wolf.
But yeah, no, I know, but you would assume
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
true.
he's just a wolf.
I guess because the glamour is what
you know
makes
what I
him
mean?
a man. Though.
I always pictured the big bad wolf as like as a werewolf kind of guy.
I
Not,
see, I just
not
thought
as
he was
just a
not as
wolf
a big
monster.
wolf.
a man like wolf.
Yeah.
More than a wolf like man.
Exactly.
So
and not to be confused with a man bear pig.
Yeah,
Maybe.
or a pig bear man.
Okay, Gooch, now we're just getting crazy. I don't even want to do that. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, but no, I think even his whole design and when he like turns like half werewolf, I guess it is.
Yeah, he gets angry and he starts to turn.
And I like when people notice it. Like there's the one part where I think Faith in the beginning, doesn't she see his eyes started to turn?
Yeah, and she's like, you shouldn't let that happen, right? He's like, I'm not supposed to.
She's like, what's that with your eyes? And he's like, nothing.
And he takes
I'm
out
chill.
smoke.
I'm good.
I love how much they smoke. Obviously, very noir aesthetic.
Those tones, the neon drenched,
Yeah.
just dark night. Oh,
Yeah,
which
so
is funny
good.
because I feel like a lot of stuff around then was doing that after like Hotline Miami.
Interesting.
But like, man, that
It
nailed
works. It works. It's such a vibe. Yeah, you got a sig.
After the huntsman gets fucking
Brained.
with his own axe by Faith.
I do love how he's
And
like, oh, let's get it out.
And it's interesting. Like I guess they don't really like. It takes a lot to kill these things,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. They live for a very long time. And they're very durable, apparently.
I guess if you cut the woodsman's head off, he would be dead.
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I
it's
guess-
cool though
it
because
seems
it's like
doable.
they're larger than life. You know,
Yeah,
they're not
absolutely.
immortal, but they're larger than life, just like Fables.
What's
Yeah.
interesting about the woodsman though is everyone has forgotten him, which is funny that I brought it
Yeah.
up. The fact that like he's the lesser known character from the Little Red Riding Hood.
Absolutely.
And I guess like in his bio it says that like he's like nobody really remembers his legend, but like everyone fears Bigby. And
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting thread line. Like not only is he the sheriff, the good guy, but everyone is scared of him.
They have this old baggage with them from the old land, right?
Yeah, from the
idea is he
homelands,
was-
and the homelands is realistically just the place where all fables lived.
Yeah.
It's just called the homelands. Like there's nothing crazy about
Interesting.
that name. And the Exodus is so there's a war with the adversary. And I don't. If you're gonna read the comic, I don't want to spoil who the adversary is.
Do you think they talk about that at all in like the next episode?
They do
next
not.
Season?
They do not talk
No,
about-
I mean in the next season. Do you think they could get into that?
Maybe
I would hold it.
you want me to hold it.
I'd hold it a little bit.
decide.
It's interesting.
Are we-
But the adversary essentially has an army and pushes out all the fables, and that's kind of
Interesting.
what happens.
Okay.
And then they go to New York and then Fabletown, and it's a piece of shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Not nice like Toontown. from
Yeah, there
Roger
are.
Rabbit.
I thought you were
feel-
talking about the game Toontown.
No, Roger Rabbit. Also, I was thinking about that while I was playing it, how Fabletown's like Toontown. That made me realize Big B would be Eddie Valiant. So it's for all my Roger Rabbit heads out there.
I will say
Deep cut.
you can definitely feel the heavy themes they're going for, and this in the way of just like class, even and stuff like that.
Oh
like
yeah,
talking
I mean they're
about
all
that.
fucking poor.
Yeah, well,
even
but then-
Bigby.
that's true,
Even
but then you
Snow is not well off.
Well, but even then, she's talking about how like they take care of the certain fables, and
Love her
the ones
voice
who
actor,
come.
by the
Yeah,
way.
oh, she is great.
Yeah.
And the people who come in the front, just get turned away. This, that, and the other. It's an interesting story, and there's definitely some interesting themes weaved throughout. But yeah, just that tone, man, and just the grit, and just walking around the neon soaked fucking city.
Before the opening credits, after you talk to Faith and Bigby's kind of investigating as to who are you, like who you working for, like clearly a prostitute. I think it's like
and it's
very
also
apparent,
interesting. All
but,
the
like,
fables don't know each other.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like she knows Bigby, but like he's like, who are you? Like what's going on?
Yeah.
right. You think they would know each other?
Or just all of them. Yeah, even like when they're like, who is Faith? Like I guess you would know them maybe by name, but yeah, no, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, and then Faith and Bigby are kind of having that exchange outside, which is gonna come back. I think that exchange is like really important. And she's talking like my lips are sealed, and she's kind of being cryptic and
My ribbon.
And do you like my ribbon? Like she points out to it, and that's later gonna come back. And then she like whispers into his ear. The last thing she says is like, "You're not as bad as everyone says you are." And then the dramatic lighting the cigarette, and then
It is good.
Yeah.
it is
And then
I've
really
had
good.
that moment happen to me before too. I've had people tell me they're like, "You're not that bad." I'm like,
and then you light the cigarette,
And it cuts to dark, you're like, what happened?
And then the Wolf Among Us theme plays. By the way, shout out to Fingers for the thematic
Yes,
intro and
very
outro
much.
again for the re3.
As always, killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
But
great theme, great music in this game.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, just the overall vibe of this game is so I want to like bottle it and sell it. It's just it's so good.
You want to sell it like crack on the streets?
No, I want to sell it like ecstasy. I feel like it's better than. I feel like it's more of an ecstasy.
Fabletown's next coke dealer.
God damn it. Yeah, who knows what kind of crazy drugs those fables have. So yeah, then this idea even of getting back to the theme of like the witches, they're upping the prices on the glamour, and I can't glamour myself.
The fucking glamour, Big B, come on.
Well, guess what? If you can't afford to be in glamour, you're going up to the farm. And then he walked away.
Who, you Mark Wahlberg now?
I don't know.
I didn't bring my impressions with me today. I left them at home. I didn't know.
I don't know how I fit into
I
this.
didn't know this was happening. Why didn't anyone inform me? But yeah, I think they do a very good job of just setting up what this entire like series is going to be with this first episode.
Right. The first scene.
Yes.
Right. It sets
Even
it up
still.
like really well. And I mean, Bigby returns to the Woodlands, which is like simply so it's an apartment complex for the Fables, but it's like Ichabod Crane's room is like, this big like sprawling like area.
Yeah,
And I think
like chamber of some kind.
I think it connects them back to the homelands as well.
Well, and that's why they have the see, I'm curious. I assume that's what the witching well is. Like it sends you back there or something like that. Maybe that's why no one wants to get thrown in it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I know we deal with it later. And
Yeah.
I don't remember. And
I don't
didn't,
either.
And I didn't look that up just
Yeah.
yet.
That's been the funnest too. Is like all the stuff I forgot about. I forgot how this episode ends.
I did too.
I was like, remember there's something crazy at the end, and then I was getting there. I was like, oh, I think it's beauty under there, and then it was not. Yeah. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I remembered like the decision between it's Prince Lawrence and
Toad.
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 Yeah. Do we want to go through the choices? Or
I was
wondering.
gonna save it for the end.
All right, that sounds good. Well, I didn't know if we wanted to talk about each one in depth, but still, you're right.
I mean, we can.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna talk around them a little bit.
But yeah. So who did you guys choose to go to then? I know we'll talk about it, but like
I went to Mr. Toad because I love Mr. Toad.
Prince Lawrence because I didn't do it the first time I played.
Same here. I think that's exactly what I did. So, is he dead if you go there later?
He can.
Yes.
He's completely dead.
Yes.
He doesn't
if you do
wake
not
up.
go there first, he dies.
Yeah.
He can stay alive. He committed suicide for me.
He stayed alive for me.
There you go.
Because I guess because I did. Is it because I rushed out early or something? I don't know.
I didn't. So when I forget if it's D or Dumb that
I think
walks
it's
in.
D because he says dumb.
Yeah.
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 I think it's D
Dumb.
most of the times. Isn't it at the end? It's also D.
I think it might be.
Yes.
Either way, but
yeah, when he comes in, I didn't move, and he ends up killing himself because of that. I'm like, fuck.
Why? He just
Well, I mean, one, his wife's a prostitute.
Yeah.
And they're poor as shit.
Did you tell him that she was dead?
No.
I did.
What did he do?
He was just like, oh god.
Of course.
Yeah. And then that was really it. And then yeah, you give him the gun, and he's searching around the apartment. And then I rushed out and got what's his name, but then D showed up and fucked me up. And then so you went to Toad. Do you run? What happens there if you go there first?
You go
Anything?
to. I don't know what is different between Toad's first versus Toad's later.
So
It's
when
Well,
you
I
go
won't
there
be able
late,
to tell you.
Yeah.
So.
So
okay,
what
well, so
happened?
you go there and he's just arguing with Toad Jr., TJ.
Okay.
They're like fighting, and then Snow takes him into the other room, and then you
Right.
kind of interrogate Toad, and then you find like the blood's coming from the back of his head.
Oh, wow,
exact
so
same
that's the
thing.
exact same thing
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
All right,
so
that doesn't.
he had some sort of altercation with D.
Yeah.
Tweedledee, and he got hit, and there's shit everywhere, and it's like it's clear, it's pretty
calling
obvious
all
that,
bullshit.
that something happened, and Toad is just like,
Listen,
rolling-
mate, everything's fine. I'm
He's
sorry, I'm trying
committed to
bring
the
him-
fucking bit. Like, he is just like, nah, I'm not giving you
Big baby,
shit.
please. I'm sorry.
He's like, I thought you cut your hand. He's like, I cut my hand, dropped, and that was what made me drop it on my foot.
And then I go,
The
"Looks
lamb,
of course,
Bigby,
yeah."
the fucking lamb.
And the whole time Bigby's doubting him, and I'm like, I believe what he's saying.
I
That
caught
could
him in his
happen.
lie the 2 times. I missed the
first one.
Yeah,
I
I caught
missed.
him the
I missed
first time, I think
the window.
Yeah.
Catching him in the lie on the window.
yeah.
But I caught him in the lie with the poker and the lamp.
Yeah.
I got him.
Yeah, I forget which one.
think I was
This is all
Same
pretty.
thing,
I finished this like 2 hours ago, so this is pretty
Yeah,
fresh in my
I
mind.
finished. I played the past 2 days. I played most of it, and then I had like the last half hour of it on my lunch break today.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
it
so
should
I
be
was
fresh,
looking up
but I have a
how
terrible
long
memory.
Work
all
from
these
home,
are.
baby.
It is sweet, yeah. I was looking up how long these all are. This one was supposedly 2 hours. It looked like
Yeah.
on how to beat, and I think the next one's an hour.
Which
But,
also, I love How to Beat. I go on that, or no, how long to beat? Yeah. I go on that website like weekly.
No, it is
when
good.
I think of like, should I play this game? I'm like, well, let me find out.
Persona 5? Should I play that one?
I know. And then
7 million
I
hours.
say that, and then I literally just end up playing Persona games for like 6 months. And then I'm like, oh, I should find something short. And then it's like, I just hop into another JRPG.
I was just telling Gooch I lost a 12. I was finishing the last trophy on Dead Space.
Yeah.
And I fucked it up right at the end on the last chapter.
SMH.
And just
been there, done that.
Yeah. Well, I don't go trophies.
It's funny. I don't know why these last like 5 couple months. It's like if it's a game I really enjoy and I look at the trophy list and I'm like, that's doable. I'll do it. Then I could just, I guess, to feel like I'm like, I got everything. But I'm not gonna be Gooch and go after something.
The last time I 100%ed any game, I did after like 5 years 100% Mario Odyssey because it's one of the
that was how I did for Dishonored. I had like 3 achievements left just by not doing anything, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I love this game. I'm gonna get these last 3.
Yeah,
and I got them.
At all costs, get the platinum. We were talking about Mr. Toad. I didn't. So his origins. I think we all know who Mr. Toad is. Is
it the Frog Prince?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's a kid's book. Is it Toad and Frog?
Yeah.
Right?
No, I think there's
a brown
rabbit.
toad and a frog.
I think
and a green frog, and they have like corduroy on.
Yo, rabbit. Yeah. Why am I registering?
You know what I'm talking
rabbit
about?
Wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well. That has nothing to do with this.
I looked into it.
But yeah, so he is from The Wind in the Willows.
That's
it's a children's novel by a Scottish novelist, Kenneth Graham.
That's who wrote it.
Yeah, first published in 1908.
Oh, and that's when it came out. Yeah,
right. It details the story of Mole, Ratty, Badger as they try to help Mr. Toad.
Badger, that's what it is. It's a badger on the cover.
Yeah, in the Book of Fables, they're there. Yeah. So they try to help him.
It's literally in the game.
This is so weird. He becomes obsessed with motor cars, and he gets in trouble. Like, what a weird.
Well, that makes the ride make more sense. You get in a motor car and you drive, and then you crash and you go to hell. It's a wild ride. It's literally a wild ride.
Wait, the ride.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, I'm like, dude, what is he talking about?
It looks so cute from the outside.
Just look at me like, you're getting this?
Yeah. It looks so cute from the outside. You get in the motor car and you like drive and like, oh, whatever. And then you're like speeding or something and the cops are chasing you. And then it's like crash. And then the devil's like there and he's like, and then you just get let back out into Disneyland. And you're like, what just happened?
Jesus Christ.
We're not doing Disneyland though.
Let's back up a little bit. I want to talk about Snow White because I think Snow White is introduced really smoothly.
I agree.
It's not like we have to go see Snow White. Typical like introduction to a character. Snow White shows up and be like, "You need to come here right now." Like they don't have like a hi, hello.
Yeah,
they're just like, "You need to come here now."
Like, let's go.
And they're immediately off to task.
Really quick, with a more important matter before that, did you give Colin your drink?
Absolutely.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Yeah,
good. I was
That's
just
my
making sure.
boy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Just making sure.
that's one of the 3 little pigs.
making
I owe him my
Everything.
life.
I actually did the third option. I glassed him real hard.
You have to jailbreak the game, but you can unlock it. You kill him.
I can't wait till we get to the glass him.
You get that achievement, you fucking loser.
It's funny. I don't remember exactly where you can glass someone, but I remember the option of glass.
It's the woodsman. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the big thing
and possibly at the bar at the end.
Yeah, it's at the bar. Then the big thing was that everyone was like, "Oh, I didn't know that was what that meant," and that happened to me and Anthony playing it. We were like,
"Really?"
Yeah, we picked it, and then all of a sudden you smash him with the glass, like. I thought it meant like give him the glass. I thought it meant literally
it is
like.
funny. I did assume.
Whoa!
Yeah,
I
it's
was
like smash it over his head.
It's like this.
Yeah, it was wild.
It does because you would be like, "Hey, glass me," and it's like,
exactly. I thought of it like that, and then I was like,
sense.
"Oh, I'll glass him. He's a nice enough guy." Bam. Yeah, I remember that was a big meme back in the day, and I chuckled at it quite a few times.
That's funny. I will say, in the moment, I was like, "Oh, that means I'm gonna hit him over the head with a glass."
Yeah,
So I'm
I think now that I'm older,
you kind of maybe
I'm like, yeah, hubby, that's what that means.
And then we we get outside. There's a jacket right on the steps in the woodlands. We were just here mere hours ago.
Yeah.
And of course, Faith's head is on the stoop of the woodland. Shit is going down. One of the fables is dead. The story has unfolded. And we find out like her ribbon is shoved in her mouth. She was placed here.
Has a ring on the end, right?
Right, her ring that she wore. We're kind of doing a little.
They do show it.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of a detective work, and we find out that we go back up to the office. Ichabod knows he's being an asshole, freaks out, and when we go, we look in the Book of Fables to find out who she is, and it's the ring. How we find it out? It's like, oh, there's her ring. It's the donkey skin girl.
Did you guys tell Ichabod?
No,
I don't remember.
I did.
Tell him that the girl died?
The murderer. Yeah, there was a murder.
Because I was like,
she's like, let's hide it.
I
let's
told
tell
Snow,
him.
and I was like, let's wait, let's figure this out before we tell him. And she was like, nah. And then later she's like, I should have listened to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because it's funny. I was like, go for it. And at the end, she's like, maybe we shouldn't have actually done that.
And in Ichabod is the stand-in mayor for King Cole. And I think this is in my fun facts, but I'll talk about it now. King Cole does not appear in The Wolf Among Us. He's mentioned by Ichabod Crane as the acting mayor while in his absence, and it's never explained why he's gone.
It's funny. I thought he was the bad guy in this, but now I'm not remember. Like that's so funny.
Yeah, I know he's brought up a few times, but it is kind of weird that he's in the comic, but he's also not mentioned or seen much in the comic either.
Interesting.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of I thought that was like really interesting.
Yeah, it's funny. You would assume that's the story of this, like the old mayor's coming back and causing
or
issues
something like
that.
Yeah. And in Ichabod Crane's office, we do meet Buffkin, who. So, do you know what he's from?
Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, he's one of the
I thought so. One of the monkeys, right?
Which is funny because you wouldn't think like Wizard of Oz is a fable, but I guess you could
technically
put it in there.
Yeah, that actually, I feel like you could consider that like almost an American fable now at this point, anyways, because it's been around for so long. Yeah. But that is interesting.
Yeah. The magic mirror is also there, and
Sick, by the way.
I love how he had to rhyme to talk to him. Like he's like these are the rules.
What is
he's
he
like blah blah blah. Abel, tell me about this fable.
Tell me about this fable.
The mirror's dope, and that effect looks cool.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. And the mirror, effect itself, him actually just in the mirror was surprisingly good too.
Yeah, that's one of the few things where it was like, this just looks completely good. The engine's not holding it back. It looks nice.
See, there was a few weird, like clippy moments for me that, like the part where Gren throws Bigby in the bar. It does this weird cut and not everything loaded in right away. But
that was always the weirdest shit with the Telltale games is when it cuts from like one shot to another. There's a stutter in the second shot.
Sometimes it's kind of jarring.
Yeah.
Telltale tool, man. Fucking shit.
Exactly.
In that part, you do find some tarot cards on the desk, and I was like, I'm looking into this.
I got all three of them.
This has to mean something. So it's you pick up strength. Strength predicts the triumphant conclusion to a major life problem, situation, or temptation through strength of character. Interpret that
pretty
as you will.
straightforward. Yeah.
The tower is commonly interpreted as meaning danger, crisis, destruction, and liberation. It is associated with a sudden, unforeseen change, and I guess we can apply that to Faith dying and a fable being killed for like the first time, and the unforeseen consequences.
Make it a sense,
of that. Yeah. And then the Ten of Swords, it means two things. When it's upright, it means painful endings, deep wounds, betrayal, loss, or crisis. When it's reverse, it means recovery, regeneration, and resisting an inevitable end.
Are his down or up?
I don't know.
I thought it looked like if I remember correctly, I thought they were down. But I don't know.
So that would mean recovery, regeneration, resisting an inevitable end.
Interesting.
What is Bigby's inevitable end?
Interesting.
Because you always kind of feel like through people talking to him, he's like not on the edge of cracking, but like I think people are afraid he will crack because he's done so much bad things. Little Red Riding
Hood, and I mean, you
see
by the end how fucking strong he is too. And when he really gets going,
he's only at like half transformation.
Exactly. He's like he's midway. I'm trying to think.
He's like half chub.
He's half chub. Exactly. He's half wolf chub at that point.
Disgusting.
I think I hit actually.
We are children.
Unintentionally hit like pretty much every talking point I have. I know.
Let's go.
We did. And then after this, we kind of find out. Okay, we either go to Lawrence or we go to Toad because Toad called in. He's like, "No, fucking."
Yeah. So Lawrence.
There's somebody here.
Lawrence is alive for me, I think, because I remember in my next episode, he's like in the flash.
Yeah, I like how the previews are like dependent on the choices you make.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, did you guys? Tell
real quick.
Oh, sorry.
I want to hit the fun facts.
Yes, and then we'll talk choices. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So the Woodsman is rarely seen in the Fable comics, only appearing in flashbacks. According to Bigby, his whereabouts are currently unknown in the comics.
I see.
So he's not in the comics. He's mentioned, but he's never seen.
Is it this like the exact same art style? Somewhat like do the characters look basically?
No.
The same? Oh, they look very different. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
The brand Eosa can be seen advertised in several places during the episode. This brand was also featured in The Walking Dead as a jewelry store backdrop for the climax of the first season. The TV in Lawrence's apartment is actually playing Midtown Cowboys, a fictional TV show from Telltale's other game, Sam & Max Situation Comedy.
That's cool.
The commercial, which plays during the break, was the advertisement used for Sam & Max Maui Better Blues.
Okay.
Toad Jr. is voiced by Melissa Hutchinson, who also voices Beauty, as well
she does?
as Clementine in The Walking Dead.
I actually didn't know that.
I wouldn't have caught that at all.
I met her twice, by the way.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that.
I met Jason Momoa.
That's her signature up on my wall.
You also met Jason Momoa.
Her signature's up on my wall.
That's I do. Yeah,
Yeah, I have two of them. But yeah, we didn't really talk about Beauty and the Beast, but we'll get to that choice.
Yeah.
And then Grimble, who is a troll security guard. He's glamored. He's a troll.
Is he the one sleeping?
Yes.
Yeah.
He has
you wake him up?
no lines in the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Doesn't
He's just
talk.
sleeping the whole time?
He's
Yeah.
in the game, but he never talks.
What a king.
And he's in the comic, and he plays.
At some point, he must have woke up because you get his jacket. I guess they could have taken the jacket
she must have just.
off him.
That's why I think she took it off his back of the seat. Yeah.
Could you
it's funny.
imagine?
I thought about that too. I was like, where'd she get the jacket? Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Could you imagine this murder's going on, and you're just like in the lobby, like
Just asleep,
sleeping
yeah.
through it?
Yeah.
I'm bringing up my choices real quick. So
All right, so we'll start with the first one.
I got him. All right. Let's see. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go for it.
All right.
Oh wait, we're waiting for me.
Yeah.
The first choice is: did you give Faith your money? Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So I did give her my money. For I guess we'll go with my percentages. You and 46.5% of players gave Faith.
Wow, that's a wild difference. Mine's 84.5.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's on PlayStation?
PlayStation 5. I
Oh,
wonder,
that's interesting. I didn't even think that's a difference.
It's technically a PS4 game.
Huh.
I think, because I have it from, PS Plus on PS4. So
Interesting.
I imagine it's pooled with those answers as well then.
Huh.
Dang.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I blew it up. I'm getting a little bigger. So
No, it's okay.
Jesus
So should we
Christ.
go through each one, or do you want to go
No,
through
I'm going to
all
go
of
through
yours?
each one.
All right.
Yeah, so I think I went to pay for the drink in the bar. and I didn't have money.
That's where I didn't pay. Yeah,
I was like,
that's what I did.
I was going to pay for it, but I forgot. Did you tell Beast the truth about Beauty? You, me, and 23.1% of players lied and said you had not seen Beauty, so I did not tell.
I lied
her.
too. It's
I
not
also
my
lied.
business. It's not my relationship. It's
I
not my
actually
business.
forget what she's doing. I know she's not a prostitute.
And I thought
I'm pretty
you'd find
confident.
out in the first episode, but then I got to the end and it was like, oh, I guess that's a later
Yeah, I have
episode
the exact same detail.
What was your percentage on that?
59%. These differences are crazy.
That is
That's
kinda
actually
nutty.
pretty wild.
That is wild.
It's
Yeah.
like holy.
Did you just
By the
write-
way,
did you just write yours down?
I did give Faith money,
Oh, well,
and
we're
that
on
was
Xbox.
53.3%. So that lines up with yours then. Then
It
because you
should.
didn't know.
It
Yeah.
should.
I would hope so. No,
I hope they're not fucking lying.
Yeah.
Where did you first decide to go? Me and 43% of players went to see Prince Lawrence before helping Toad.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I went to Toad and it was 69% of people went.
Whoa.
Okay, nice. But yeah, no, which is also kind of crazy. Like 70% of people did the wrong. It's objectively the wrong choice.
No, it is now that we've said that. It's absolutely
Yeah, it is.
the wrong
It is.
choice.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. Because I remember doing that the first time.
I think when I did it the first time, I went to Prince Lawrence's first, and it's weird. I think I've played at least the first episode a couple times because I feel like I've done all the options.
Yeah.
I just can remember them just from
Exactly
back in
what-
the
yeah.
day. Yeah. So it didn't feel super consequential.
So next up, what happened to Prince Lawrence? So I revived Prince Lawrence, but he died by his own hand, and that was there's no percentage there. Actually, I think there is.
I
but-
prevented Prince Lawrence's death.
Oh, I forgot to take a picture of it because it was he died.
You suck. No. God
Dude,
damn it, Joey.
I asked you to do one fucking thing. Show up and
I got more questions on this. Who is the prime suspect thing?
Yeah, I'm curious about that too.
yeah,
Actually.
yeah. Because so Bluebeard is talked about in this episode,
But you don't get to see him.
Is Bluebeard
So
the guy
it's-
on the bottom right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay, I
it's so
had no
weird
idea
they
what was-
show you people that you haven't met yet. Because then also the guy from the strip club, the bald
Yeah,
guy.
her
with
pimp.
the-
So that's
right,
who
but
I guess.
You don't know his name yet.
But you just
Have
know
you
her as
seen
his
him?
pimp.
no, it's
It's so weird they
You
put
see him in the
pictures-
flash. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like I remember from playing the game back in the day who they are, but I was watching it now and I was like, wait, did I miss an opportunity to meet those guys? And it's like, no, they just
Yeah, so
put them in.
let's talk about who our prime suspects are. 10% voted for Lawrence. Nobody voted for Lawrence here.
No,
12% for the Woodsman.
no,
16% for Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
yes,
That's where you went.
that's what I voted.
20% pointed the finger at Faith's pimp. That's what I did as well,
Same.
especially knowing what happens in the game.
Sure.
I made the educated, the best choice, I think. And then
mean you
4%,
cheated. No.
4% with Bluebeard, who we have not met.
I wouldn't have even known who that was.
It's funny.
He's mentioned.
I do
quickly,
know
that
for
he's
sure.
rich.
I
He's like
definitely
one of the
remember
richest
that, but
people in
maybe
Fabletown.
meet him later.
He doesn't
too.
even have a blue beard.
No.
Yes, he does.
That beard is black, my friend.
Dude, it's fucking blue. Well,
That's
That
a
is-
black beard.
That is a black
That's
beard.
a black
you're
beard.
fucking lying.
I'm looking at a picture of my television because I couldn't figure out how to do a screenshot and get it to my phone.
I
from
did a
my-
screenshot, and that man has a black
Yeah,
beard.
that's a black beard.
Dude, quit lying.
You know what's funny is I picked Twitter. I literally don't remember who did it. I remember the first episode so vividly.
I know
The rest
where it
of I'm like,
connects to, and I know like we'll meet the pimp later.
I feel like I
Yeah.
remember the broad strokes,
That's
but I
where
don't
I'm at,
remember.
because I remember meeting the pimp. and Bluebeard.
call. I thought you called her a broad for a minute.
I remember the broad.
meeting
I remember that
broad.
fucking broad. Jesus Christ.
Crikey, Geach.
There was a decision. Oh,
there's
well,
another one.
the you know what decision isn't? Oh, well, who did you arrest? When it came down to
yeah.
the wire, you and 51.6% of players made sure Tweedledee didn't get away. It's clearly not the Woodsman.
Yeah.
Well, I know, but the woodsman knows some shit. That's what I think. I think.
Yeah, I think
he
you're
he
correct.
knows. So that's why I went after him.
Okay.
You went after the
I did,
Woodsman.
I got
and you
the
went
Woodsman.
after Tweedledee.
I went after Tweedledee.
You guys suck.
Yeah.
No, see, this is gonna be cool. I will say to go through these like in the next
Seeing the
episode to see how
different- Instead of having to just
proliferates.
play it
Yeah.
again, I can just ask you guys
Exactly what happened, yeah.
bros.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And the decision that we did, well, when you go to the bar at the end and you talk, you go to Holly's bar and Gran is there and someone's in the bathroom, but there's a glass on the counter, but we don't know who it is. I really like that conversation of like you can really drag it on a while.
Yeah.
And again, clearly, Bigby is not liked, not feared by these people. Well, I think a little bit feared, but mostly just not liked.
Yeah.
And also, I guess they know the Woodsman was fucking beat up by him too.
Yeah. That's
they're-
their homie.
Well, he seems to be more of in their circle, so they're willing to protect
Right.
him. Whereas Bigby's seen as the guy who's protecting the big wigs in Fabletown, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
A little bit
Because he's the law.
Absolutely,
You know?
yeah.
Little
For sure.
what?
Anti-authoritarian.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
And anti-cop, which is funny because that's before it was like super cool to hate cops.
Yeah, yeah. How do you feel about Big B being a police officer?
Hey, Cap, can we talk about it here? No, I'm kidding.
A web. All wolves are bastards.
It's true.
That would have been way funnier if I just had it
If
immediately.
you had it locked and loaded, that would have been AWAB.
Fucking AWAB.
What?
Carry the two. AWAB. Got it. Anything else, Gooch?
At the end of the episode is where he walks over the crosswalk, right? There's another head there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes back to the apartment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the police sirens are flashing and all that stuff.
Yeah, and he walks over the tape, and it's another.
Head.
Yeah, it's
Which
another
I
head.
completely forgot who
And
it was.
it's.
that
Are
was
we gonna
crazy.
spoil it? Or are we gonna wait and talk about it next episode?
Well, I mean, it's Snow White's.
Yes. Okay.
We know that.
Spoilers.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So okay.
I mean, we fucking finished it. We know
That's
that's
the whole point of the series. Come on.
Yeah,
now.
it's Snow.
So
Yeah.
don't tell me and don't even react. But that's not her, right? I think so. I can't remember. But
Who?
yeah, Snow White. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty confident she's still in this whole game throughout. But I don't
I
know.
completely forgot about that, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I did too. As well.
Yeah.
I did forget about
'Cause
it.
I remember
as he
thinking
was
she's in the
walking up,
rest
I
of the
remembered it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Snow.
it's all coming back to me now. They use glamour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all coming back.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Fucking
anyways.
spoilers,
That
dude.
was pretty crazy though for a couple hours when I forgot, and I was like, I could have sworn she's in the whole game. Why is she dead?
Wait, she's in the sequel.
That was the funny thing where I was like, I remember her too much in this.
Yeah,
so like,
exactly, yeah.
That was like, there's no way this is
That's
right.
funny. Yeah, I had a couple hours there where I was like,
What's going on? Yeah.
And as per tradition, as we started with the Re3s, I wanted to read some reviews from our favorite site, Metacritic.
Oh, okay,
So I picked three. One green, one yellow, and one red. And I had to go to the users for the red. There were no bad reviews for the first episode of The Wolf Among Us. No in the red reviews.
Interesting.
So The Escapist writes, gives it 100. An amazing introduction to the Fable setting. The first episode of The Wolf Among Us absorbed you fully into the character of Bigby Wolf through excellent writing and forcing the player to make engaging choices. I would agree.
I totally concur with that for sure.
Multiplayer.it writes or gives Wolf Among Us a 74 out of 100 and says The Wolf Among Us episode 1 Faith opens a new season in an exciting world rich of possibilities, but lacks those moral choices that forces the characters to face their worst inner demons that made The Walking Dead such an intense and poignant series. Sure. I think that's like a valid critique, but like it's like comparing apples and oranges.
But I also think this is like much more of a this is the beginning episode.
You're not in a post-apocalypse and people are just dying, you know.
And you don't have to decide whether or not you're living for food or whatever. Yeah, I agree. I feel like that setting presents much more of a black and white style decision making in some things that it's just like this is a bad, not even gray actually, in the way of like I need to do this to save myself or kill this person or blah blah blah. But yeah, no, I agree. That's interesting.
So this is a user review again. This is the 3.
Oh god,
3.
I cannot wait.
By Dakota. If you're out there, Dakota, you better fucking change your tune. This is horrible. Telltale should just make animated movies. They clearly have no interest in actually making a video game. That's clear from this game and The Walking Dead. Like The Walking Dead, it's all story, no gameplay. Story isn't bad, but it's a video game. Not a movie. If you want to make a movie, make a damn movie.
So you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say there's a small percentage of me that a little bit agrees.
I was expecting that to be a bit more outlandish than it was,
and that's why I included it because it does pose a point of like this is more of an interactive movie than it
choose
is
your
a
own
game.
adventure almost.
Yeah.
But I think there's room for that kind of stuff in games.
My big thing,
like,
big thing that puts me towards like kind of seeing it is literally the QTEs.
No, definitely.
I would rather watch a cutscene of the fight. I don't care if I get to choose between slamming Woodsman into the wall or into the bed.
Right.
I would rather
just do both.
Yeah, I would rather just sit there and just watch that happen.
Well, do those have any meaningful change within those scenes? No.
No,
if you
do
miss
both.
all. So, but I'm saying if you miss certain QuickTime events, can like an event end up going a different way?
I thought about doing
like
that.
at the beginning with
I
the
would
Woodsman.
assume
Can
the
you
Woodsman
get fucked
one
up? And
is irrelevant.
That's
I
what I'm
assume like
thinking, too.
whatever happens, you both end up going out the window.
Yeah.
At worst, maybe you could get a game over if you really missed every one. I don't know.
Yeah, I wondered how that's because I agree if that's the case.
Yeah.
100%. But no, I mean I think there are varying degrees. I mean, these are choose your own adventure style games.
Yeah.
Whereas like you are interacting, it is a game. But yes, is it leaning more heavily into the story point of it? Absolutely.
And I mean, I think that brings up the same conversation with games from Quantic Dream, Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Detroit. Like this is those games on a AAA level.
Yeah.
And it would be like,
wait, you don't think those games are AAA level games like Quantic Dream? And stuff?
Wait, you're saying this is AAA of those?
No,
backwards.
Sorry.
Yeah,
okay,
backwards.
I just was making sure. I was like, I don't think so.
All right, Goose. Okay.
Well, let's have that one.
Like those games are like movies, but I think what
Even like Until
their
Dawn.
game quirks make them different from a movie.
Absolutely.
And like even like if we're gonna talk about Death Stranding, like Death Stranding.
No one brought that up. No.
Might as well be a movie, but like the gameplay is the heart of it. Like it's what makes the game not a fucking movie.
Yeah. And speaking of Death Stranding, Norman Reedus actually is also in this other show it's on AMC called come on, man. I'm not doing
Wait, is it that one called
The
Breaking Bad?
Low Winter Sun. Deep Hole. You remember Low Winter Sun? He used to come on after Walking Dead.
No. What is it about?
Let's get back on topic. No, he wasn't. Let's get back on topic.
We'll be here for another hour. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was like, is he being serious?
Yeah, but no, I mean the main criticism that Telltale's always face is that like the choices don't matter, like and like to playing it now and it's all these years later, I definitely see it way more than I did then, and it's mostly in the little choices. Like the bigger choices, I get like you have certain ways it has to go, and there are some pretty big choices. Like Prince Lawrence dying is
right.
pretty big.
I was gonna say that seems to be the biggest determinant in this episode. Like it's the first episode. You know, I don't expect like again like in The Walking Dead. I remember the first episode is between two characters at the end. Like one of them survives and then goes on to go through the whole season. But again, like the setting and the story, like it makes sense for that. I don't like.
Yeah.
Again, I agree.
Why
I
would
think
you just be killing characters left and right?
I think The Walking Dead leans itself to more morally compromising decisions in much more harsh ways.
And I mean, ripping Gren's arm off.
Like sick to do, by the
like
way.
if you do
that was the only good QuickTime event. Mash an X to rip that guy's arm
and me and
off.
Trio didn't do that.
It was awesome.
and Joey did. But like
I think I did do that the first time around.
And I think doing it like definitely sets a tone difference that like Big B is not to be fucked with.
Yeah.
And like especially when we didn't talk about it. Jeez, when he's getting dragged across the floor and he has that transformation and like Trio said, he is a fucking force.
Yeah, he's fucking.
He fucks Gren up,
which is interesting because I do think that like Gren wasn't afraid of him, and I think it's probably because he
Gren's
probably
badass.
forgot, like he had forgotten.
Yeah.
Big B probably didn't have to do that in a long
Yeah.
time, and he was like, this guy's probably I can take him,
Yeah.
and then he went full bore. Like I do love how the intro when he's like dragging him and then he hears his like nails catch and then it cuts
That
back
was
to
really
him.
well done.
It's good stuff, and then he's like, give me a shot, and then he fucking West and he's like a double, and then like when he puts it down, he's changed. It's great.
like,
It's great stuff.
The example I think of, and there was like a couple little ones, but the one that I remember that I was really like, oh, you're really not letting me choose here was when you're interrogating Toad, you just have to end up smacking him. I tried so hard not to smack Toad because I love Toad.
Wait,
I didn't smack Toad.
I didn't smack Toad.
What the hell? I tried my damnedest. And they were like, you gotta rough him up. I gave him a little.
Oh, was it because you didn't catch him in lies?
Oh, that probably is. I didn't catch him in enough lies.
Yeah,
I caught him in 2
out of
lies.
the 3.
I'm just a bad detective. I will say also the detectiving.
Sorry, man.
I skipped out on. I just like it. Just felt tedious. That's a thing I don't miss from playing Telltale games.
Walking around the room.
investigating everything, and then making some comment of like, "Oh, that's even Life is Strange too, though."
LA Noire.
But, yeah,
same
I
thing.
do not miss like walking up to something like, "Oh, isn't this a fucking neat picture?" It's like I don't care.
I agree.
Yeah,
I actually.
that I like though. I actually love picking up stuff like
For audio listeners, I picked up Joey's phone and
I
just
do
rotated.
like how it's used in this to the way of like you have to use your circumstantial
for sure.
evidence
It's
to prove
about a
them
detective,
wrong.
so I do think
So
it's
it does
definitely the
work a
most.
bit more for sure, but I agree.
I'm just so impatient
That's-
now, and I
that's
was
my
like,
least
I've
favorite
played
part
this
for sure.
before. I don't need to do any investigating, so I'm just.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any rules in the RE3 about this, but about playing the game right.
Did
but I'm not
TJ
doing
watch
that.
you smack his father?
I don't think he saw it. No,
He was in his room probably.
Yeah,
I do
he's
like-
still yeah.
How Snow kind of like plays the like.
She's like,
Let's
I'll
go
take
look
the
at.
kid out.
I heard
here.
you got a. I heard you got a little
Yeah.
bug collection. Like I
And then
really
she's
like her
Biggie,
character.
fuck her. Fuck him up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't mention this in the fun facts, but they are in a relationship in the comics.
Makes
and
sense.
they do have kids together.
See, in this, it seems like they're like
Just
kind of
starting.
Jim
burgeoning.
and Pam
Yeah.
season 2.
But
that was an Office reference. Did you catch
Shouts
that?
out The Office. Hey, if you guys ever do, this is unrelated, just different.
How many
sitcom.
times have you said that in this podcast? If you do an X podcast, like
Oh yeah, if you
Wallace and Gromit, Sopranos.
because I've been itching to come
Evangelion.
back.
reality TV shows.
Don't even mention the Evangelion podcast right now because
Are you
that's
mad
a
that I
call
didn't
to
do it?
arms to the fans for you to book me and Nick for 5 hours straight to talk about.
I
cartoons.
would like to talk about Evangelion, but when we went to go see it, it was a bad time, and then I'm like, now it's just like I don't know. We should. Anyway,
Fans, write it in the comments. It's happening.
If we get 100,000 likes on
we
this
get
video,
if we get 2 comments
if
about
Journey to the Centimeters reaches 10K
5,000,
views,
yeah. That's still sitting pretty at a nice 4.5K. Don't understand why. But, Gooch, anything else on the first episode of The Wolf Among Us?
that is it for Faith, episode 1.
Love it. Folks,
It's in the
no
books.
one's it is in the books.
It is
books.
in the storybook.
the Fables.
Fable.
It's in the
Book of
Fables.
Fables.
It's
We are
one of the
Fables.
Fables. We are
And
now
that's
part of the
comedy.
Fables.
We are The Walking Dead.
Thank you all. Oh, no, wait. No one's watching live on these ones. I was about to. Thank you all for watching live when you do on twitch.tv/Delco Network. We usually live stream most of our podcasts, but these ones we'll just be putting out when we feel so. But you can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We're on all your favorite social media pages as well. Drop a like, comment, subscribe on these videos. It really helps. Tell a friend about it. It really goes a long way. You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can email us with your comments, questions, or concerns, delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you.
Very, very.
But for Gooch, for Joey, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.